Welcome to mt4gadgets.com. In the previous video, we explored the categories of the most commonly used operators in MQL5. And now we can start to see some examples and some code. We'll start with the conditional operators, which is if-else statements, and we'll see that they are very, very commonly used in custom indicators and especially trading bots to take decision on what action to take. So in having said that, let's go to the meta editor and see some code. We are now in meta editor and we can see an example. We're going to write together an example of the use of if then else. If then else, they again are conditional operators, meaning they operate on condition. They can decide what action to take based on certain condition. In the example, we see something very simple, but trying to make maybe some sort of real case scenario very, very much simplified. So in this code, we'll do a check of previous close and print if the price was higher or lower than a value. So to do that, we need to use some, firstly, variables. First variable will be a double because it's a price, and we see price threshold, we'll call it, and we give it a value of 1.0560. I just made that up. And also we need a second value, which will be the previous price close. So regardless of what time frame you are using, we are going to see the previous candle close value and save it in a variable called double previous close price. And to extract that price, we use the function iClose. For what symbol? Current symbol, which is the symbol in the chart where you will be running the script for the current period. And shift is how many bars behind you're going to look the value for. 0 is the current bar, the current forming bar. 1 is the previous bar, the one that has just closed. So we want bar 1, which is immediately 1 before the current. So two things we have done here is we have declared and assigned value to two double variables. One is the threshold and one is the previous close price. Now we need to start using our conditional operator to operate an action based on a condition. So a condition usually is dictated by an if. So if something happens, and in this case, if the previous close price is greater, so bigger, higher than the price threshold, what do? The then is not expressed as a word, but we open brackets to tell the code anything that is included in the brackets after the if, it means it's executed if the condition in the parentheses is verified, is true. So in this case, if the previous close price is higher than the price threshold, then execute this code. And we don't want to take much action. This is just an example, so we'll just print a sentence saying the previous close price was higher than, and here we'll use the variable again. Price threshold. The code may end up here if we don't want to do anything else. If the only thing we wanted to do is print this sentence if the previous price close was higher than threshold, then we can stop here. But in this case, we also want to continue with the example of otherwise, if this condition wasn't true, what to do. And in this case, we will do else, and we open the brackets, and this means if that condition was not true, what to do, then we print something else, which is the previous close price was not higher than. Price threshold. So in this case, we have both conditions. One, execute this code if the condition was verified and true. Otherwise, execute this code if the original condition was not verified. Let's try to compile it to see for error. There are two warnings. These are not really errors. This is telling me that price threshold is a double variable and we are trying to add it to a string. So what we could do is double to string and we can do an explicit conversion of the price threshold to reduce or remove the error. Very simple. Keywords if and keyword else. If a condition is met, execute the code in between the brackets. Otherwise, execute the condition in the other brackets. Something else that we could do is add another one where we cover the action if it's higher. What if it's the same? So we could add one condition with else if previous close price is equal to price threshold, then I can say something like, copy paste for convenience, the previous close price was equal to the price threshold. So in this case, we can continue with else if to specify a different condition if the first one is not met. So if the price is higher, execute this code. If otherwise, keep checking. If the price was equal, then execute this. Otherwise, if none of the above conditions are met, then execute this one. Let's try to compile again to see if any error, and there's no error if the program is compiled correctly. Something else to remember, if you want, you could continue with else if. If you have other conditions that you want to add, you could continue with else if, specifying the different conditions, and then close at the end with an else to capture if none of the above condition was met, then finally do something else in here. If then else, or if else if, or if else can be a concept that is a bit scary when you start as a beginner. However, it's just a matter of practicing and writing some code, do some tests. As you can see, it's not very difficult, and I'm sure that with a bit of coding and practice, you can understand and master it fairly quickly. So hopefully this lesson was useful to understand one of the first and main conditional operators, and you can take it away and experiment yourself. Hopefully this lesson was useful and you learned something. If you haven't already, come and check us out at mt4gadgets.com, and I hope to see you soon.